Hello, my name is Janelle Morris, and today I'm going to give you a tour of the website of the Smart Museum of Art, which is at the University of Chicago. Here's a picture of the outside of the museum, and we will be visiting smartmuseum.uchicago.edu. Okay, here we are at the opening page of the Smart Museum of Art, and to start off our tour I'm just going to point out our options at the top of the page. They are Visit, Exhibitions, Programs, Feltler Center, Collections, Support, and About. And for our tour I am going to start at the Visit tab. So I'm going to give that a click. Okay, and that's going to bring us to the picture of the outside that I showed you before. And that kind of brings up a sub-ribbon here with directions, tours, Miriam's Cafe at the Smart, our community, study room, accessibility, and visitor policies. If you go to directions, it is going to bring up a map of where it's located, and you can see it's located just west of Lake Michigan in the city of Chicago, and it'll give you directions how to get there. But if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, it will also give you museum hours and contact information. I'm going to click back to the main page now. And I'm going to, under the Visit tab still, I'm going to move to Our Community. Alright, in Our Community, it's going to show you exactly who and where the community is. And the Smart Museum is part of Museum Campus South. So if I scroll down here, it kind of gives us a little bit better view. And it's on what's called the Culture Coast because there's a lot of artistic activity going on in that area. But Museum Campus South is a group of museums that are all in close proximity. These museums have collections about contemporary and modern art, architecture, theater, performance, historic collections, archaeology, science, and technology. So if you scroll down here, it gives you the Museum Campus South members, and you can see it really is a diverse group of museums. So if you are able to actually physically go to the Smart Museum of Art, all these things are within a short walking or bike distance. So the first one is DuSable Museum of African American History, Frank Lloyd Wright's Roby House, Reva and David Logan Center for the Arts, Museum of Science and Industry, Oriental Institute Museum, the Renaissance Society, and Smart Museum of Art, which is our museum. Okay, I'm going to go back. And if you need to know any of the accessibility or the visitor policies, those are up here in our ribbon under Visit also. I thought one thing that was interesting in the visitor policies is that the Smart Museum does allow sketching. They do have certain rules, obviously no wet media, things like that. But I thought that it was nice that they did allow for sketching to take place. Alright, the next thing I'm going to move to is the About section, which is the very last one. And if you click on About, it will take you to this page, and again we have another sub-ribbon up here. But I'm going to scroll down a little bit first before we get to that, and I'm going to get to their mission statement. Okay, and the mission statement is the Smart Museum of Art at the University of Chicago opens the world through art and ideas. And another important thing that I loved about this museum is that it's always free. So we don't have to worry about the hefty entrance fees that some museums have. Alright, I'm going to go up now, and we're going to go to the history. I found the history of the museum to be pretty interesting. especially the namesakes, which are David and Alfred Smart. The gallery itself was dedicated on October 22nd in 1974, and it opened to the public the following day. And if we scroll down here, there's a quote from Edward Macer, who's the founding director of the SMART, and this was his quote in 1974. "Through its holdings and its programs, the SMART will offer countless and infinitely varied possibilities for the study of the visual arts. The discovery and the exploration of those possibilities, very much in the great tradition of experimentation and creative research which so characterizes the University of Chicago, is the task of the faculty, staff, and students now and in the future." It was also Mr. Macer's idea that the gallery would be a teaching gallery, and it continues to be so to this day. It is part of the University of Chicago and really has a lot of programs and focus on the learning aspects. Alright, so the SMART has exhibitions that have toured nationally and internationally, and they talk about some of that if you scroll down farther. And then here's a picture of the namesakes of the gallery. David Smart and his brother Alfred Smart. And they were in the publishing business and were very successful. They were from Chicago, and they founded Esquire, Coronet, and Verve magazines, as well as the film company Coronet Films, which was an educational film company. The building itself of the museum was designed by Chicago-born architect Edward Larrabee Barnes, and it's a very modern, simple building, and they said that was to focus on the art that it stores. All right, I'm going to go up a little bit because there's a video clip of the history of the Smart brothers and before they had the gallery named after them. So I'm going to play just a part of this clip.
David and Alfred were very different. David was a high school dropout, a visionary, a perfectionist with impeccable taste. He could be charming, he could be brusque, but he was always trying to find the perfect solution.
Uncle David was the more glamorous one. He always was dressed to the T's, and he had a glamorous estate in Glenview with a swimming pool, a movie studio, an ice skating rink, and a very glamorous wife.
Alfred, on the other hand, went to college, got a degree in engineering, was an intellectual. Alfred lived in a modest apartment on the north side of Chicago.
My uncle Alfred was very interested in psychology, in art, in music, and all of the more intellectual pursuits.
They were always very close and devoted to each other.
Contrasting, complementary personalities that I think is what made the business the success it was.
Above all, David and Alfred were successful entrepreneurs. Moreover, they were successful entrepreneurs during the Depression in the 1930s. At a time when it was difficult to start a business, they started 4 successful businesses. Originally, they were publishing a magazine called Apparel Arts, which then was called Gentleman's Quarterly, and was sold as a trade publication to men's clothing stores. What they found was that so many people were stealing the magazine from the stores that they decided to publish a magazine for the public. And they submitted numerous names for the magazine. Every time they submit a name, the lawyers would come back and it was turned down. And my uncle received a letter from the lawyer, and it said, the name of the lawyer, comma, ESQ, Esquire, as some lawyers like to call themselves. And my uncle said, great, that's the name. They used Esquire.
Okay, I hope that you found the history of the Smart brothers to be pretty interesting. I will leave it up to you to explore more about them and about how they got involved with the Smart Museum. I will leave that up to you. I have returned now to the main page, and I'm going to click on Programs. And under programs, we have a few different options. The first one is calendar, which is a really handy tool. If you click on that, it will list all of the programs that are coming up for all the different subcategories here. The first one I'm going to go to is schools and teachers. And most of the programs that the Smart Museum of Art offers are for people who live locally. And it seems for those people who live locally and for the University of Chicago students, they really do offer a lot in the way of learning and professional development. So the first thing is you can schedule a field trip, and they will adjust their field trip to whatever it is that you would like to see, whatever aligns with your curriculum. The first thing that I'm going to touch on, though, is the Co-Create program, which is a program that brings together high school students and teachers, artists, and arts administrators to create and explore the benefits of art. I'm going to click on here. All right, the Co-Create program I thought was really great in involving the community, working together, that, you know, teacher and student community cooperation. And what happens in the Co-Create program is that each group chooses a theme to explore, and the final collaborative piece is shown in an exhibition. The sessions are 6 weeks long and take place outside of regular school hours, so they are this is a program that students, you know, are doing on their own time, which I thought was great. I'm going to show you just a part of the informational video about this program. This is the video from the SMARTS website, and here we go.
2015 marked the third iteration of Co-Create, an innovative platform developed to explore new models of urban arts education. Artists, educators, and administrators from the Smart Museum, Urban Gateways, and the University of Chicago's Arts and Public Life Initiative and Logan Center for the Arts teamed up with students and teachers from Southside high schools, experimenting collaboratively with pedagogical practices and shared meaning-making experiences, working together on an equal footing as learners, thinkers, and creators.
Hi, this is my third year doing Co-Create. So it started 3 years ago, and I was one of the people that first was in that first group.
I do performing arts, but doing this is also exciting.
I draw like pictures of like clothes and stuff, like try to make my own clothing line and shoes.
I usually just draw like sketch or color.
So I like to paint because it like helps me think.
As in previous years, the program first convened at the Smart Museum for immersive sessions in art and culture.
We use a technique that we employ here at the museum called artful thinking, which is essentially just a series of questions that we ask of the artwork to produce ideas and questions.
What if this was a painting? What if this painting didn't have an actual? What if I saw this painting on a train platform and not in a museum?
Participants were encouraged to relate to artworks based on their own experiences and points of view.
So what you're going to do is go through the artful thinking, why, what if we process this more apart, and then
Ultimately, they organized themselves into creative teams based on affinity for specific works.
What if every dot was intentional?
What if this was an image of something microscopic? Why isn't he looking at her?
Why is she barefoot?
Why is there a hole in the sky?
What's evil?
Okay, so I hope that gives you an idea of the Co-Create program. I will let you explore the rest of the video on your own, but Co-Create seems like a great program to involve students, teachers, and artists in promoting artistic thinking. I know as I watched the video, I was really excited about the line of questioning that they did with their students. I'm going to click back now, and we are going to stay under that Programs tab, but I'm going to show you the teacher workshops. And again, these are more for teachers that are local. And if you scroll down, they do have several workshops. 4 times a year, the Smart Museum holds a forum for Southside educators and SMART staff where they can discuss art-based practices, and this program is free to all participants. And also, the Summer Teacher Institute is professional development training for educators provided by the Jane Addams Hull House Museum, National Museum of Mexican Art, the DuSable Museum of African American History, and the Smart Museum of Art. And the last part here is the lesson plans and tours. Teachers are able to plan tours of the Smart Museum to fit their curriculum, as well as develop lessons inspired by the Smart's collections. I was a little disappointed that the website did not have lesson plans shared on its website. I thought they might have been useful as companions to their online collections, which I will show you in a few minutes. All right, the last section underneath the Programs tab is the tours, but they also have, let me scroll up here, sorry. Underneath the programs, they have families, which I'm going to show you. Once a month, the Smart Museum holds family days where families can drop in to participate in hands-on activities and tours. And the family programs are free and open to all, and all art making supplies and other materials are provided. Family programs are best for kids 4 through 12, and children must be accompanied by an adult at all times. And some of the upcoming programs, if you scroll down, I thought looked really fun. The Wacky Waterworks and the Little Statues Big Fun. All right, moving back to that tab, and community. Alright, if we scroll down here, the Smart Museum has many community outreach programs, including a partnership with the Odyssey Project. The Smart's website describes the Odyssey Project as a free year-long course in the humanities for adults living at or below the poverty level that operates on the premise that engagement with the humanities has the capacity to transform people's lives. All right, I'm going to scroll up now to the University of Chicago students, because again, this museum is located on the campus of the University of Chicago, and they do offer quite a bit of programs for those students that are there. Every Thursday during the school year, the Smart is open for University of Chicago students to meet up. They offer creative and inspirational programs on select nights, which are free to participants. I love how almost everything at this museum is free. And then once a quarter, the Smart's galleries are turned into a late night study hall open to University of Chicago students. And then also the last thing that I wanted to point out is their Student Advisory Committee, which works with professors to plan events that bring students together socially and intellectually. The committee offers students an opportunity to gain experience and skills in a museum environment. So not only is it giving them an opportunity to voice their opinion and how these, events are run, but it also gives them skills that are beneficial in the workforce. All right, the last section underneath this tab, underneath the Programs tab, is Art to Live With. Art to Live With is something I found to be really exciting, and I really wish that there was a program like this at the college that I attended. It's a program that allows students living in the University of Chicago's 7 residence halls the opportunity to personally borrow original works of art to live with in their dorm rooms. Students are able to select from 75 specially designated artworks in the Smart Museum's Art to Live With collection, including prints by Chagall, De Goya, Miro, and Picasso. I just thought that was really exciting for them to be able to have actual artwork in their rooms. Okay, going back to the main page, I'm going to go to the Feltler Center. Okay, And then underneath that, there's different options here. There is a study room. The Smart Museum of Art study room provides public access to the SMART's collection of paintings, sculptures, prints, drawings, and photographs. So they will set up the study room, like in this picture here, and you can have discussions. It can be used for classes or private meetings. The next thing that I thought was really neat was under this tab here, Image Services. The museum will provide high-quality images of artwork in their collections upon request, and I really thought that that would be very beneficial for educators. All right, exhibitions. The exhibition tab gives brief descriptions of the SMART's exhibitions, and if you click on the title, you will be given dates and a brief summary. So if I click on Tang Cheng, the painting that is painted with poetry is profoundly beautiful. This would be a great exhibit to create a lesson around that focuses on art and poetry, giving you that interdisciplinary connection to language arts. You can see you are given the summary, and if you scroll to the bottom, you can click through some of the pictures of the exhibit. Okay, and there are sections for current exhibits, upcoming, and past up in this red ribbon. Okay, the final section that I'm going to show you is the SMART Museum's collections. And I think this is probably most useful for those people who are not located near the SMART Museum. I can see myself using this in my own teaching since I'm not very close to the SMART Museum. And it has different sections of their collections. There is Asian art highlights, contemporary art highlights, currently on view, European art highlights, modern art and design highlights, and H.C. Westerman study collection. It's very important to pre-screen the content, especially if you are an elementary teacher, as I am, because there are many examples that are not appropriate for younger children. For example, if you click on the largest collection, which is the H.C. Westerman study collection, on the very first page there are images you wouldn't want to pop up with the younger students. So what I would suggest is previewing the content and then using the museum's image services I showed you to present specific pieces to students. I had the same experience when I clicked on currently on view, and you can see there's some nudity in the opening example as well. I found many elementary friendly examples in the collections though. For example, if you click on the Asian art highlights collection, there are many great examples of artwork. So there is a lot of useful information on the site if you take the time to plan ahead and pre-screen. So if I click view all works here, you can see there's a wide variety of examples. Okay, well that is my summary of the SMART Museum of Art. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you'll take the time to explore it yourself and hopefully find something useful for your own classroom. Thank you.